Welcome everyone to another episode of Everybody Loves Tom, because doesn't everybody, right? I'm here with a special guest. She's awesome, Nikki Glaser, ladies and gentlemen, from Fboy Island.
Yes, Fboy Island.
Fboy Island.
Yeah.
But first, I gotta bring on a special guest.
What?
My partner in crime.
I thought I was a special guest.
Yeah, you are!
What the
Ladies
heck?
and gentlemen,
Nikki, we go back.
Tom Schwartz.
Hi, guys.
He's been back there all
back
day.
there.
Jeez. I know.
How's it going?
I got a It's okay. Yeah.
Before we get started, I got some cocktails here.
Mocktails.
Mocktails.
Ooh, thank you. There's something, this albino
Cheers.
strawberry.
Oh yeah, perfect.
This is beautiful.
Oh yeah, here.
Ooh, it's spicy, Tom.
Yeah, this is got muddled jalapeno, fresh lime juice, a 0-proof tequila with we have these with muddled blackberry and topped with some Squirt Zero grapefruit soda.
This is so good. Did you
Good,
invent
right?
this?
I guess I just kind of did, yeah.
It's nice.
That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sorry.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
Cheers. Cheers,
Yeah.
everybody.
Nikki, you're performing tonight at
At the Improv.
8 p.m.
I'm here to promote that.
Love you.
Is it when's this
Coming out
airing?
tonight. It's gonna be on 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm here. This is my 5th podcast of the day, the best one
Wow.
of the day.
serious?
I know, and that's crazy. I'm promoting Fboy Island, so I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you're
at it.
dialed in.
Yeah.
So do you think
It's the most controversial podcast of my day. This is the one that my publicists were like, "You sure?"
You
Yeah,
sure?
yeah.
And I go, "Yeah, what's the problem?" They're
We've
like,
been hearing that a lot
yeah?
lately. I don't know why, but
Nikki,
Well-
who proved this?
I know.
when I did Masked Singer, they're like, well, you know, it could be like Donald. You know, people might think you're Donald Trump, Kanye West,
Oh, you- I bet-
Vladimir Putin.
As if he
You're up
Yeah.
there with Vladimir?
Yeah,
You sound just like him, Tom. You sing.
I do.
I hate to say that your likability factor is not. It's not the best choice to wear a Cosby sweater for you.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is not a Cosby sweater.
You
Right?
said what we were all thinking.
Thank you.
We got
I
that.
mean, it's causing out a
We
little
got that at
bit.
his garage sale.
Wow.
Subliminal.
I'm getting sleepy just
even
looking at
subliminal.
it. What'd you put in there to drink? What the
Oh my
fuck?
God, we are.
Well, it's looser than I'm wearing it looser than Cosby.
No, it's good.
would.
And you know what? I saw you last night or this morning. I watched Special Forces because I did Nick Vile's podcast today.
Oh,
He was my
yeah.
first podcast, and he goes, "Watch Special Forces. We're going to talk about it." And I go, "Tom's on." I had no idea. You
Yeah.
are doing great on that show.
Thanks.
You really broke down.
Yes, on the toilet.
Wait, so that's
Of all
insane.
places.
That they had you crying and shitting at the same time.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was coming out of all ends.
This is weird, like, because on reality shows they don't usually like mic you when you're going to the bathroom. Like that seems like a safe space. Is just no space on that show safe?
Not really, no. There were cameras everywhere at all times. It was pretty stressful because you only knew when they came and pulled your mics that you weren't going to
Right.
possibly be pulled out to like
But you
the parade
wouldn't
square.
think, even if you're mic'd, that you taking a dump would ever make it. Like I've been mic'd before and go to the bathroom and I go, "Hey, just will you not listen right now, or listen closely?"
I mean, at Vanderpump Rules,
Anything you hear is a queef. That's always what I say. That's what I say to the sound guy. But like, you don't think they're gonna air it?
Nikki, can we pause for a sec?
Sure.
You don't cry when you shit?
We'll cut that.
That was probably one of the hardest physically, mentally draining things I've ever done, and so, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, after you get done doing something where you're just like, how the hell was I even able to?
Are you
get
talking
through
about
that?
having a conversation with Nick Vile?
Yes, that.
No, but
well
that day on the show, Nick said the same thing, that it was like you guys lugging that 220-pound boat like 3 miles or something.
Yeah.
And then having to run back. Was that what you're talking about? Is the
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, and you're just like, it's not working. Your hands are getting ripped up. It's like they, you know, when you're gonna you know run a 5K, you prepare yourself, you pace yourself, you know, not knowing when it's gonna end was the real killer. And
Oh
then
yeah,
they
they're
were
not
like
like just
yelling at
run
you.
3 miles. They're just like,
Yeah, they're like,
Run to this
they're
one.
like, if you stop before you get, you know, 10 feet, whatever, you're gonna drop this thing. You're like, if you stop, you know, we're gonna make you do 50 push-ups, like, and you're just you're dying, and so you get to that spot, you give it everything, and you think it's the end, and then it's like,
Are they just mean to you the whole time?
They're
Did they
just
ever
mean to you the whole
show?
time.
Was at the end of the show? Did they at least go like, "Hey, good job"? Like, was there any
Yeah.
like Gordon Ramsay moment where he's like
Yes.
the guy
Yes,
turns and okay,
they
good.
were, yeah.
But it's crazy how
Nikki,
mean they are.
Would you do a show like that?
Well, I was watching it and thinking like, okay, this is the level of fame I'm at to be asked to do the show. Like, I'm gonna get asked at some point, and would I do it? And I think the answer is you got to say yes to things that scare you. I think
Yeah.
like you doing Masked Singer, like was that was probably easy. You're a singer, so that wasn't that hard for you to do. And you were
was-
masked. You must have been like, thank God, I get to like not
Yeah.
be myself.
I didn't have a lot of time with it because I'm busy, and you
Right.
know, and you
That's
would
why
be
they had
busy
you
too
in and
as
out
well.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you did Masked Singer too.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I did it season 8, so last year. Yeah,
Wow.
a year ago.
And you-
I got 3rd place.
Nikki,
That's
you sing?
amazing.
I do.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Criminal, Fiona Apple.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He
I've
loves
been a bad,
Fiona
bad girl.
Apple.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah. And I lost to the Wilson Phillips sisters and then Amber Riley. Like, I lost to some like pretty good
That's
singers.
amazing.
But the way the show works, like it wasn't like I was competing against it. Like I got 3rd place, but there were better singers that got eliminated before me. But I'm still gonna take it as a win.
Yeah, that's
Natural talent, or
No, I train.
You train?
I got into comedy because I wasn't good at anything else, and then during COVID when comedy stopped, I picked up a guitar and I started like singing. I got really like Taylor Swift's Folklore album came out, and I was like, I just kind of want to like. It was acoustic, so I was like, I just want to play. And I was living with my parents. My dad plays guitar and sings, so I was like, I'll just try to learn. And then I was like, I think I like this more than anything I've ever done. And so
pretty
then I
cool,
started
right?
taking lessons, and now I take voice lessons every week. I'm trying to like be good at it because I realized when I wanted to be a singer in high school, I was good, but they were like, I remember it was all about musical theater in high school. There was no like, I might be a pop star or a rock star. It's like,
Yeah.
you're either doing musical theater or nothing else. And so I remember my, choir director.
You did musical theater?
Yeah, but I wasn't that good at it because I wasn't a soprano and I just wasn't interested in musical theater or like those kinds of songs. So I wasn't really good at it. But I remember my voice teacher telling my mom like, she doesn't have it. Like, don't invest in this. And so I heard that from her, and I just like literally just quit on a dime and never sang
fucked
again.
up.
And was like, I'm never gonna do it. And that's
you
I think
took a-
that's the power of like just saying one person can change. If someone would have been like, you've got it, and they could have been like an insane person, but if someone would have just been like, I think you're really good at this, that gives you so much confidence. That's why I do comedy. One person was like, you're really good at like, you're a good comedic actress. And I was like, what is that? And I started looking into it because you're just dying for anyone to notice that you have something in you. And so
Yeah.
for years I thought I couldn't sing, and then I started doing it again, and I was like, everyone in my family's a good singer. I am a good singer. I just need to train. It's like, it's not something that comes
Yeah.
naturally to me. People just think you're either good or you're not at singing.
Do you find that can kind of help
It
motivate you?
discouraged me when I was young and like really just thought you were either born with it or you either have it or you don't. Like I just thought
Yeah.
talent was like you're born with it. And we all kind of think that secretly. We don't look at Beyonce, and I think we know now all the hard work that went into it, but she didn't have a childhood to get to where she is. Like Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson because he didn't have a childhood. Like these people have been training since they came out. So that's why I like comedy. You really can't start until you're about 18. Like no one wants to see a child do stand up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone's at the same level as adults.
Yeah.
That's
we all
cool.
start from the same place. So we all suck at around 18. And certainly there are better people than others, but really stand-ups, your favorite stand-ups, think of the people that you're like, they're the best stand-up. They weren't that until about 40. When they were doing it, at least 10, 20 years is when you're like an expert. And that's how long it takes. That's why I like it, because when you're a singer at 20, there's people, if they've been doing it longer than you, they're going to be so much better, and you compare yourself. But
Nikki,
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
about 10,000 hours. About
yes,
Gladwell.
yes, that's exactly what I'm talking
You
about.
put in 30,000 hours.
I don't know. Like I try to add it up because I'm like on stage every night about an hour, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I'm almost there, but it's a struggle.
Whatever it is, you've got it. You've got moxie. You've got
Really?
chutzpah.
It's your life is fascinating. Like people giving me some people have been giving me shit about coming here, I have to say, and been like, not giving me shit, but like, really, you're doing that? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? And I go, so what do we think he should? I go, should he kill himself? Is that what we're trying to get to?
Some people online think
Should
you should.
should
Yeah.
he die? And people go, huh? And I go, but honestly, what do you want from him? To go away forever, to lose everything? Did he kill someone? Did he and I'm not saying I'm not excusing what you did, but I'm very fascinated in cancel culture. That's why I was interested to meet you, because I like reading books and like reading things about people whose lives have been completely turned upside down in one day. It's fascinating.
It's crazy.
You're a case study.
There's
What
already
you've been
been like,
through.
I think 2 documentaries done specifically about this scandal.
And have you participated in those?
No.
Why Howie Mandel?
Howie Mandel?
Like Diane Sawyer, you turned her. Like you had to have been getting asks for like, Oprah
yeah.
must have wanted to talk to you. Their money you must.
The reason why
I guess you couldn't monetize it because people would have hated that.
No, they would have hated that.
Even though you could have.
The reason why
Yeah.
I didn't do any of those is because they all would have been putting on a front and been like, so, Tom, but like really in their mind, they're like, I'm fucking going for blood with this one. You know what I mean? And they would have done it.
They would have been good at their job.
Yeah, they would have.
And Howie's not?
No.
Just as Howie's
The
not
reason
like
why,
a,
the reason why is I didn't
Would've
want somebody's motivation to interview me to be the like, I can't wait for the I gotcha moment. And also I didn't want that to be their motivation, and I knew it would be if I went with people like that. If I went on The View, if I went with like, it would have been the I'm going to act like I'm not like emotionally involved in this, but I really am.
Yes.
And I'm gonna like put this act on and get this I got you moment. And then also it's gonna be their edit. It's gonna be, they're like.
And Howie Mandel doesn't like to dig up dirt.
I don't know
You like
that.
it? No. I'm making fun, but like, that's a vulnerable place to be in. Who are you going to hand this to? Who are you going to let bring out vulnerabilities, things that you hadn't talked about before? You want to go with someone that you're familiar with and hasn't seen the show.
I wanted to do a podcast so it can be long form.
But also, I think he wasn't. It doesn't matter that he watched the show or not.
Yeah, I agree.
Because his fascination with it was less like details about season 4, episode 6. His fascination was like, I've seen and heard about the story on CNN, the New York Times, all of these huge media outlets. Why is this such a big deal in the world going on right now?
I think
That's what his
because
fascination was.
It's people are so infidelity in every way, and just it's just so relatable. Even though no one wants to ever admit that it happens in their own life, or that they may have been the product of it, or that their parents may have gotten together through it, or that their dad might have stepped out. Like, it is everywhere, and so people feel it's just charged. And you were the scapegoat of, for, man. I want to know, like, man. Like, how are you like today? Like, do you wake up and like, are you like at peace with it now? I mean, how many months has it been?
Sometimes it's been over 6 months now. I think 6 or 7.
Well, early March is when it all went down. Well,
Yeah.
Came out.
Don't act like you don't remember the day.
7
You guys-
months. No, it was like March 1st or
guys-
2nd.
Third,
Do you remember what we were talking about earlier?
Dun.
You know what Jaws did for the ocean?
Yeah.
It's changed people's psyches.
Right. So what did this do
I
for
think
what?
Sandoval.
What's the analogy, Tom?
I think that a lot of people
People will not go
woke
swimming
up,
with Tom.
They saw what happened, and they're like, I need
They will
to
get in a hot
I need
tub
to
with
be-
Oh God.
I've seen clips.
Okay, that's fine.
Girls make me sign the NDA.
I think
What is this going to be like for you? Sorry to interrupt that brilliant analogy that you almost found. We were 10 minutes away from you getting to it. You want to just go think on
I'm just
it?
saying.
I get what you're saying.
What Jaws did for the ocean and sharks, I think Sandoval did for people who are on the precipice of an affair or infidelity.
Involved in one right now.
Yes.
I called my mom and I was like, "What do you want to know, Mom?" Because she's a fan of the show and like and she's a fan of the scandal. I mean, I guess that's something right now. People who are fans of a scandal, Fandavals, and so she just was like, "How did he think he wasn't gonna get caught?" And I go, "Mom, I shoplifted for a really long time and I knew it was wrong."
Abercrombie?
Urban Outfitters. 2006. I was 18. I knew it was wrong. I couldn't stop that it felt good every time I did it. I didn't even know I was doing it at one point. Like, I was just doing it for the charge because my life was just things weren't going well in my life. But every time I got out of that place and I stole like menswear, I didn't even have a man in my life. Like, I would not even wear the things I stole. I just wanted to steal to feel like I'm doing something bad. It's naughty. I'm getting away with it. And I couldn't stop. And I knew that I was never gonna stop until I got caught.
What was the first thing you
that
ever
it was gonna
stole?
have to? It was gonna. I forget. It was just it was high school. All my friends stole, and I used to be like, I like this necklace, Kirsten, and then because I was too pushy to steal, and then she would steal it for me and just like palm it to me when we got
It's
out.
high stakes.
But then my friends went away to different schools, and I was like, I gotta try it, and then you get addicted. But I just knew I was gonna get caught someday. Did you know?
Yeah, I was way too emotionally wrapped up into it to like be thinking logically. Like,
Yeah, you were on a drug. I'm not excusing it. You're not excusing it by saying that, but like,
No.
would you were an addict?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were, it's all I thought about.
Yeah.
Literally all I thought about. And it's like one of those things where,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah, it was out of control,
I think.
And it's something I never thought I would ever get like wrapped up in. Like I was like, yeah, right, And here I am, like in this, just so wrapped up in it and unable to like pull myself away from it. Also had a lot to do with being insecure with myself too. Like, I thought that, I'm like who, like how could I ever get a girl like this young girl, like beautiful girl? I had such low self-esteem. And I would be like, I was thinking like if I let her get away, like,
I might not have that chance again.
Exactly.
It was extremely validating.
Yeah.
Have you like worked on that low self-esteem, or is that still like a part of you?
Yeah, no, I have for
So,
sure.
Did you know at the time that you had low self-esteem, or that were you aware of all these motivations, or was this just like?
No, it was
about-
more in retrospect.
Yeah.
Like I was too wrapped up in the moment to like think about that. It was more just like.
You were in a different dimension.
Yeah, I mean,
And you
I
thought
was
you could
so
keep it a secret
absent from like
forever.
my friends.
Most
Like,
absent, yeah. Like I was invisible. Well, I don't have to get into that. But
Right.
yeah.
I'm feeling that way
everybody was
today.
invisible to you.
Yeah.
During that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, it sounds like you were a drug addict. A little bit. It sounds like the way that it
Yes.
is when your friends get
Yes.
addicted to drugs.
It's like
And that's not excusing it, but like, I think that sex and women and this kind of thing can be, obviously there are support groups for people who are addicted to this kind of
It was
behavior.
the love. It was like
they're love addicts.
It's like heroin. Until you're doing it.
Did you figure out the Jaws thing yet?
He's
Still waiting
thinking.
on that. Don't jump to the
I'll
next
give him a
movie.
my
minute.
bits. I'm working through my bits in real time with Nikki.
Wait,
Yeah.
more importantly, you're
My
from St.
tour.
Louis. Where did you go to high school?
Kirkwood.
Kirkwood?
Yeah, what about you?
I went to Hazelwood West.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So when you go back home, so you went
lived
back
there.
home and you lived with your parents.
I lived with my parents for a year.
during the
COVID.
pandemic.
Yes. And then-
Okay.
yeah, I was like 35. It's so embarrassing, but it wasn't at first. I love my parents. I was like, I'll just hang out here. I was moving. I was in between apartments in New York, so I just put down a lease for an apartment in New York that started March 1st, 2020.
Yikes.
This is the nicest place I ever got. That was my first, like, I'm an adult. I deserve to spend some money on myself. Nice apartment.
What part of New York?
I think it was like, I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just trying to say like how much money I was in. It was eight grand a month. And I never lived in it for even one day, and I paid all 12 months of it, and I never stepped foot in that apartment.
That's kind of gangster though.
I'm not saying I know that's like, oh cool, you're
a
so
write-off.
rich, but it's like, it was just like.
I mean, you paid your rent with cameos, right?
I was doing cameos for a little bit. It got to, there were some desperate times.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tom's did canvas too.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Like I made peace with it almost immediately because people are like, don't pay it. And I'm like, I have to pay it at some point. Like just, you said you would, you have to do what you're going to say. There was a lease. And I had just moved a girl from Missouri, from Cape Girardeau, to New York to be my assistant. Like I was like, I'm leveling up. Nice apartment. I'm gonna treat myself. I've always lived so like, just like a college student, still struggling comedian.
That
I'm gonna
place in
treat
Cape
myself.
Girardeau where they throw the rolls. What's that? Do you know
I've
what I'm
never
talking
been to
about?
Cape Girardeau, but I moved this girl from there. She was to New York to be my assistant, and the
Wow.
week she started was like COVID week, and then so she lived in my apartment.
You're like, here's money for a cab.
I paid her for a really long time too, so it was like all these expenses that I just made. It was the wrong time,
Jeez.
but I just stayed with my parents' house, and so I wasn't paying rent there, and just
I mean,
hung out, and I
New
loved
York
it.
would have probably been a nightmare, though.
I didn't want to be there. Yeah, I was
No,
like
who
too
the-
scared. I had no furniture in the place. Like I was starting over. I was gonna redecorate everything, and so I just
this-
stayed at my parents for 10 months.
Nikki, there's something romantic about that though. When you first get into a new apartment, it's just like anything is possible.
Yes.
And you get like the first meal you order is like a Chinese takeout.
then Black Lives Matter starts, and there's riots outside of the
didn't see
street,
that
and you
coming.
go,
That was
"This
a
is not as
non-sequitur.
romantic."
That was a non sequitur.
No, but you're right. It was gonna be like my year of being single in New York and
I
like,
see.
like
What part
just
of-
finally like owning my life and like being like celebrating where I had arrived, and then but everyone has that story about COVID. It's always like I was just on the cusp of getting. Everyone has that, and that's mine. But it ended up working out because I moved back to St. Louis and my life slowed down, and I was addicted to doing stand up. I was doing it every night compulsively. I was about to have an E show, actually, a talk show on E that was starting, I think, April 20th, and we were in the final stages of putting it together, and I didn't like the show. I was like, I don't want this to happen, but I couldn't tell anyone because all these people were invested in making it. You can't. You have a talk show. Who doesn't want a talk show? But I was like so exhausted. My self-esteem was in the garbage can. I was dabbling in like an eating disorder that I really couldn't control, and I hated myself. And this show was about to come out that I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't have time to commit to it. And I remember saying, God, please, something happened to take the show. Like there was nothing that was going to make the show go away aside from a pandemic. Not that I feel like I brought it on,
man.
but it really.
It was you.
What
And
was
then I
wrong
got
with- what
paid
was-
for the TV show for
first-
all the episodes, and that never even happened.
What was wrong with the show that you?
I just didn't. I was doing stand up so much, and I was on tour. I was on my first theater tour, so that pressure. I was always on the road, and I had a Sirius XM show that I did 4 times a day, and I had to do stand up, and I didn't have time to be in the writer's room and working on it, so it was happening without me. It was like a show that was being built that I was just gonna walk into, and it didn't feel like mine. And it was called Nikki Glaser's Obsessed. Nikki Glaser's Obsessed. So it was like things I'm obsessed with. It was kind of like a John Oliver, but like lighthearted about like let's deep dive into this thing, and it just wasn't. I was like,
You had to. It's something that you had to
Wasn't
have your
my
heart
passion.
and soul
Yeah.
into. Otherwise, it's gonna be
you gotta
thin.
like with what you're doing, and I just didn't. I didn't get it yet. I didn't get the concept, so I was just like, I guess this has to happen. I'll make the best of it. But I was on the brink of like a nervous breakdown. I really was like thinking, I'll just go away to like, I need to have like I might do like a rehab situation because I was just like so exhausted, and then COVID happened, and then that was a new low of like, I mean, we all went through it of just like depression and.
Thank God you weren't in New York.
I know.
I heard
I
a
got
lot
the
of
fuck
people
out of there. I was
just-
so scared. I
Nikki,
wanted to
for
be with
some reason,
mommy
what
and
you're
daddy.
saying right now is reminding me of the Jessel. You remember the Jessel neck?
Yeah,
offensive
offensive,
neck? I love
yeah.
Andy Jessel. Remember every time someone got eaten by a shark, he would have these
You
shark
and this
puppets
shark stuff.
come out and like celebrate.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was so good.
just
That show was great.
It popped to my mind while you were talking about your show. That was
Yeah, but he seemed to enjoy that show. This was a show that I was gonna like have no. I was like, but it sucks to be like, I don't want to do a show. Like that feels weird to say. So I was just in a bad place. But then it got worse living it with my parents. I was just so depressed, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I don't know how I mean, I do know how I climbed out of it. I like got on meds and stuff, and then I was able to like get out. And then I just decided to stay in St. Louis because. It's just like calmer there. There's no pressure every night. I have to go out and do stand up. I have to do a podcast every day. You're not comparing yourself to hot people all day or whatever. There's hot people in St. Louis, but they're hard to find.
Wait,
Well, you were saying you were saying
No
earlier you had like a eating disorder.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe like being in St. Louis kind of helps?
Well, that's what, when I was like just not eating all day. I was doing like intermittent fasting, which is like people who have dabbled in anorexia.
Huge
They're
advocate.
like, I can say I'm intermittent fasting and no one will notice that I have
whoa.
a crippling eating disorder. So I loved when intermittent fasting came out because it was finally like what I've been wanting to do, but no one's going to be like, you have an eating disorder. I'm like, no, I have a diet that is approved by Joe Rogan. And so I was like so into it. And so I wouldn't eat all day. And then when I would start eating, I couldn't stop. And then I would stay up all night eating, like in bed.
Toasted
Like I would
Ravies?
wait. Huh?
Toasted Ravies.
St. Louis. No, I'm vegan.
Oh.
But I guess those aren't
You can
on
do
yeah.
vegan toasted
They're
Ravies,
right.
yeah.
But nice try.
So you would
You really
so you
deep now. I'm
wouldn't
just kidding.
eat.
That was nice.
So you wouldn't eat, and then you would eat.
And then I couldn't stop. Like it would just, when you
Wow.
break your fast, and then
Yeah.
I would just like eat all night. So I didn't gain weight from it because then the next day I would just go, okay, I have to starve all day again. And it was just like I never saw an end to it. But when I got back to St. Louis, I'm living with my parents, and I'm thinking like, why don't I have a boyfriend to go live with? Like, why don't I have a like, what's going on? Like, oh, woe is me. And then I realized I like wake up in the morning and I like would collect like protein bar wrappers. Like, how many did I eat in the middle of the night? 9? I ate 9 meal bars in the middle of the night. Like, maybe this is why you don't have a guy in your bed and you're living with your parents. And so I sought help, and I like started going to like meetings for people with the eating disorders,
Wow.
and I like got it under control. It just, you gotta wait till these things, like you're saying, like an addiction to whatever, like a thing that you're obsessed with, you gotta wait till it reaches a point where it's unmanageable, which yours kind of, you hit a bottom because
yeah.
of what, it wasn't really the bottom that you hit, it hit you. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was a bottom you hit.
It was.
You were getting sloppy, and it was getting too much, and
I was
so-
obsessed. I mean, I like wouldn't sleep. It was crazy.
Well, I think it's very similar to an addiction, because people get mad at people with addictions. Like, we can say all day, like, well, you just had an addiction, you poor thing, but people are still like, well, fuck that. I don't give a fuck that he had an addiction. Fuck him. Like, he could have done better. People say that about alcoholics. Why did my dad drink? Well, just stop drinking, Dad. You don't get it.
not
Like,
that easy. It's
you've
a
never been
disease.
an addict.
Yeah.
So I have empathy for you in that way, of course, because I've been there.
That's why I
Like,
threw
I
out the
wish I
train
could just
spotting.
stop eating.
He's sick, boy.
I've been anorexic before. I wish I could start eating. Like, I don't know why I couldn't. That's why I don't like mental illness, in the sense that you never get any fucking sympathy for it, because everyone thinks it's up to you. Like, I was anorexic when I was 18, almost died, and it was like the worst
Jeez.
thing that ever happened to my family. I was hospitalized and all this stuff, and it was,
What
I
happened?
never.
You just wouldn't eat?
Well, I always hated my body, but that's not what it stemmed from. It just like, I found something to control. Like, it was like, gave me a purpose. It was something I was good at finally. Like, I was good at like not eating, and then I was getting attention for how skinny I got, and then all of a sudden the attention goes to like, we're worried about you, and then it makes, I couldn't stop. Like, I can't even describe why I couldn't stop, but that is why I don't like, I felt so horrible about being anorexic for so long, because people think you're choosing to do it. I mean, I even see anorexic girls now. I'm like, eat a sandwich, bitch. Like, I forget to have empathy for them, because it's so wild that the cure is a hamburger and you won't just do it. But I can only say that I've been there, and I don't know why. It would be like someone saying to eat poison. Like, that's
Nikki,
how it felt. I just couldn't.
Nikki, it's like the
Yeah.
stigma with alcoholism, because like just stop drinking, be better. But it's not like that.
I
It's a
wish it was that
disease.
easy.
My grandma-
You're
my
hurting
grandma-
people.
It's a disease.
You're hurting your family, and I was like, I can't stop. I don't know what to do, and
My
it
grandma
seems like
was like
your fault.
65 pounds when she passed away. She literally had, pretty much, she was obsessed with pooping.
Laxatives.
Yeah. She would
That's why you
take,
cried
like,
when you shat last night.
Yeah.
It reminded you of Nana.
Wow.
It's all coming together.
Circle.
No, but laxative abuse is like a horrible illness.
She would take this stuff called Clean Start, and you're supposed to take it at the most once every quarter to like clean you out. You know,
She's like every quarter.
she would
hour.
take it after like every meal, and she passed away from what I remember, a potassium deficiency,
Yeah,
because
that's
she wouldn't.
bulimia.
And she became obsessive compulsive. Like, she loved Dasani water. She was the only one, I guess.
The worst water. Just not a sponsor, right?
But it's the lowest calorie.
It is
That's
the
why she
lowest
liked
calorie
it.
water.
Yeah.
She would literally, like, you would pour her water and she'd be like, just 2 more drops, and like you.
Oh, so you have it in your family. I mean, like, that's the sickness, and it sucks because no one. If you have cancer, everyone's like, I'm so sorry you have cancer, but no one is. When I was sick, no one was like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. It was, why are you doing this?
Nikki, that's a perfect
And
analogy.
it's like, why would I ever
Yeah.
do something that makes me have no friends?
Yes.
Everyone hates me. I am cold all the time. I'm starving all the time. Why would I ever choose this? Maybe is this something that's not in my control?
Nikki, you know what's floating around in my mind right now?
What? I'm dying to know. Jesus Christ.
One of the
So
most-
many things.
It's an iconic but very toxic quote from Kate.
Oh yeah, nothing
Nothing-
tastes as good as
Skinny
feels.
Feels.
Yeah, I remember that a lot.
That's deep in a lot of people's psyches, that quote.
That probably
Yeah.
really helped her get better.
Yeah, you're triggering me again.
Sorry.
Seriously, do you
Sprite zero, you said? Thank God.
Squirt Zero?
Oh, squirt zero. Okay, good.
Do you ever feel like, is this something you still feel like you battle
Yes.
with? And
Even when you were making this, I was like, no sugar, and I'm like, oh God, shut up. You can have like, who cares? Like,
I do keep that in mind though, because a lot of alcoholic drinks are there's no alcohol in this, but a lot of cocktails are deceptively high in calories.
Oh yeah, they really, they are.
Yes.
But I was like, have a treat.
Dude,
You've been working
yeah.
all day. It's not gonna make you fat. Like, but I still struggle with those thoughts all the time. Yeah.
Our
and-
first jobs were both at TGI Fridays. Have you ever Googled how many calories
Oh,
are in a
it's-
mudslide?
It's
I
like
bet
2,400.
Oh,
Really?
my God.
that's nuts.
It's literally like 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should we get mudslides after this?
So I mean, because obviously,
He cried over one last night.
mudslides are delicious.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
Nikki, what was your first job? Do you remember your first job?
at Emo's.
Oh, Emos!
Yeah. What?
St. Louis
Emos
style pizza,
pizza.
everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Provolone
Emos is
cheese?
delicious.
Yes.
Provolone cheese.
It's
for
so
people who
good.
don't
He
know.
knows.
You get it.
Are you
He knows.
serious?
Yeah.
I gotta give you one of these.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Emo's. What about you? What was your first job?
My
in St.
first
Louis?
job was, I worked at the fish fry I went to St. Ferdinand Catholic School. I worked at their fish fry on Fridays with my aunt and uncle, like briefly. And then I worked as a cook in a dive bar right by my high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, shit, I was like 14. And I was like,
What was the dive bar?
it was called Pillas. And I cooked like pizzas and like all
Yeah.
kinds of shit, bar food.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. I liked
What a
it.
dead end question.
Yeah.
actually,
Kidding. It
no,
was
actually,
actually
no, actually,
What's your
Well,
first
that's
job?
that.
No, Nikki, it's not.
I feel like a lot of people in the entertainment industry more often go service route versus
think-
retail. Because it's kind
Yes.
of like you can either go,
It's kind of performing.
yeah.
Wait, Nikki, I have a good question.
Wait,
What-
okay.
What was the first job that was like instilled the confidence in you to the point where you're like, you know what? I might be onto something. I can do this.
Well, I guess it was probably like acting or something, or like stand up, the first time I did stand up, it was just like, oh, okay, well,
Mine
this
was
is
a
what I'm
Kohl's
meant to do.
commercial, but yeah.
Yours was a Kohl's commercial? Really?
They-
And what
they-
about it made you go,
Anyways,
this?
Yeah, not about me.
No, but like, was that the moment where you were like,
Yeah.
I like the camera likes me, I like it?
Because I saw people that I saw famous models in there and like really handsome. The dude way more talented than me. They were in the audition room and I'm like, and I booked it. I'm like, it gave me the confidence.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it changed my whole world. It
Yes.
sounds silly. I know it's a Kohl's commercial, but I was like, I saw this dude that like he's a famous Abercrombie model. I know it sounds silly.
No,
but
he's on all the bags.
Probably one of those
Yeah.
handsome guys on the planet. And he like was just walking out as I was walking in. And I'm like, I got this over this guy.
That is such a validating moment. Yeah, that makes sense.
I used to shoot for Kohl's all the time when I modeled, yeah. And they would use a lot of like big models. Like I'm like, oh, this guy did the Calvin Klein campaign. This guy did
was
the
that rate, Tom?
Aquadagio.
$2,500 a week.
20. It was like so long ago.
When you model for those, like, is there stuff that you put on that you're just like, this is fucking ugly as fuck, but you gotta look like
Oh yeah.
cool in it? Like, is it ever
And they would
so...
clip it. They would clip it all in the back.
This is what
which
people
I
need
think
to know.
is really
Everything
fucked up.
is clipped. When you look at Target
Yeah.
ads, Kohl's ad, it's all gonna be boxy on you. It's gonna look like shit.
they clipped
There's
it all in the
literal
back.
binder clips on the back.
Well, now they don't have to do that because now it is more fitted. But like the style is kind of going back more towards baggy
Yeah,
again.
that's
But
true.
now they've make things really fitted. But yes, back in the day, it was all clipped in the
deceptive,
back.
yeah.
And yeah, it was great. It was Kohl's
How
was
did
like
you
a machine of
Start
like.
modeling though.
I got with Centro in St. Louis. You know them?
Did they like discover
Talent
you?
Plus.
Yeah, how did you get discovered?
Yeah, how do you? I love a modeling discover
I want the
story.
origin story.
What's that one
I went.
picture of you when you're like kind of a kid in like a hardware store?
Oh
Like,
no.
that's from St. Louis. That is like.
Can we pull that up?
We'll put it up, but that's
Please.
my favorite.
Nikki, I gotta show you this.
That was
I'll pull it
actually
up.
that was actually
Ace
like that
Hardware.
was actually kind of deep in my modeling.
Oh, really?
Career, yeah.
Really? You were so
They just
young.
made me look young. It was like
Okay.
it was like a Sims looking photo shoot I did in Connecticut actually. But I did something. Somebody was like, "Oh, you should go meet this person at Talent Plus." I got into it originally for acting. I quit sports in high school to be in plays and musicals. I was Oren in Little Shop of Horrors.
That's cool.
And so
Man.
that made you feel that was just
Yeah, and
more
then I booked
fulfilling.
my first modeling job through my headshot.
That
and
looks like a joke.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is a joke. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
I booked my first
ironic.
modeling job when I was 15.
Did you get
Jim's
told?
Formal Wear, Castelli's, Jim's Formal Wear.
Did people like tell you should be modeling your whole life, and then it finally happened? Like, when did you start
No.
getting like your good-looking like compliments?
Probably like high school.
Oh, so puberty.
Yeah.
What about you? When's it gonna start?
No, I was way behind Tom Sandoval. Dude, this guy,
He was on.
he's got moxie. He was a dancer. He was a club promoter in Miami, a model.
But like,
He led such a...
it's interesting to me when you find out that you're hot because
Oh, I'm not hot.
But I mean, you were a model. That's confirmation you're hot. You beat out a Abercrombie. Like, did you find it at that Kohl's ad? How did you even get in that audition?
I think I'm approachably good looking.
But when did you get discovered?
I never got discovered. I met Tom on Craigslist back in 2009.
Like looking for a roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I packed everything I could in my 2003 Honda Civic.
Yeah.
And I had a little knife.
Met on
just in
Craigslist.
case. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't even move here yet? You just were looking for people to live with.
Yeah,
when
an
you
ongoing
moved in?
Craigslist ad.
Wow.
I work for a distributor. I work for Premier Beverage, and I resigned formally. And then Tom was like my main. He was like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
And then he got you into modeling?
Well, I met him, because okay, are we gonna get deep here? Okay,
Yeah.
I was always a closet actor. I wanted to do it my whole life,
Yes.
but I was ashamed.
I thought we were going somewhere else there.
Whoa.
I was like, finally.
This is deep.
No.
I was wondering when I was going to come
who
out.
am I? I'm a schmuck from the Midwest. I'm Tom Schwartz, man. I'm from Woodbury. I'm like, I can't be an actor. Who am I to think I could be an actor? You know?
Yeah.
But low key, I'm reading Stanislavski out of my bed. I'm like,
Aw. Are you
what-
still pursuing acting?
not so much.
Put it out there.
I don't really.
You wanna act.
I wanted to be
write
an
my own
actor my
material-
whole life, and like now I have like, I mean, unless
Same.
it's a role where I'm just walking
like
on
that.
and having fun, like
Same.
I have no desire to fucking audition.
Yeah.
It's
No
so much
desire.
more hard work. You have to have a passion for the art of it, which it sounds like, that's why I asked, that sounds like you do if you're reading Stanislavski. Like, I just was like, I want to be Rachel Green on Friends. Like, I just thought you could just like get cast, and you're like, it was easy. And when I discovered like, you have to like care about like studying a character and like
It's
doing.
it's so desperate too. You go in those fucking auditions, you feel desperate
get
and
used to
needy
know.
and
Oh,
like
gotta
yeah,
get
it
used to
is an
it.
ugly feeling to me.
No.
I don't.
it's so bad.
I don't like it either.
I don't
I really,
hate it.
People that are actors are really. Do
you remember the first
thick
time-
skin.
Do you remember the first time you bombed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It always happens later because the first time you go on stage, you do well. Every comedian you meet that is like a working comedian, the first time they'll always have a good first time story because you would never do it again if all you had was a
There you
bomb.
go.
You're always chasing that good feeling, but I started bombing right away.
I've been meaning to ask you this since we got here.
Since we got here.
do you remember any of your first routine?
Yeah. Oh,
Any
yeah.
jokes? Wait, can we hear one of
I
them?
mean, I was trying to be Sarah Silverman, so I just
Yeah,
studied her
I
a
love
lot,
her.
and I think I always tell comedians that are starting out, they're like, how do I write jokes? Just write for someone that you really like, because sometimes it's so hard to like, what would I say? And so I would just write like, what would Sarah Silverman say? So I wrote a joke that was like, I really, I even like talked like this.
Let me change your voice.
I did a joke about that my mom, I was 18, so I was like, oh my God, I'm in college. I just went home and I found out my mom told me she was pregnant. And I was like, that's so gross. What the fuck, Mom? She was like, Nikki, I'm really going to need your help. I need you to help me take care of this baby. So I pushed her down the stairs, and that took care of that. So that was like, it was my first joke. It was like, an abortion. You know, like I was just trying to be Sarah. So all I talked about was sex, abortion, rape, AIDS, racism, like all, you know, and even though I had never had sex before, I just was like, what? I was talking about having sex and like all those things before I was even doing it. My life was not interesting.
Whoa.
I was like a total prude.
You were doing bits on sex before you had sex?
Oh, absolutely. And because I didn't have sex until I was 21, and then after that, I didn't
Oh,
have a boyfriend
wow.
until I was 24. I didn't have a serious boyfriend until I was 29. Like, I've been stunted with all these things, but yeah, and that's why I talk about sex so much on stage now. I'm like kind of known as like a sex comedian, but it's not because I'm like, I love it so much. Like, I do, but I think it's because I was scared of it. Like, I like talking about what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
Or things that are, and I like talking about things that are obviously taboo. Like, we shouldn't talk about that. I'm like, no, I want to know more. So I think that's my fascination with sex. And I think a lot of times female comedians, everyone kind of rolls their eyes like, oh, she's talking about her vagina again. It's like, yeah, because we just kind of started talking about this stuff, by the way. Like, it wasn't ever cool for women to talk about. We're kind of still exploring that area.
Yeah.
And it's growing. And there's new areas to explore every day. But it's...
Your vagina's growing. That's great.
Yeah, it's like everything else in your body. It starts to like, it's mine's like jowly recently. It's like, it's so depressing. I have to get a brow lift down there. It's bumming me out.
It's radically honest though, so it speaks
Yeah,
from your soul.
I like if
It
something's
speaks from your
honest.
soul, yeah.
It's like
it comes. It just flows. It flows.
I have some really
Yes.
dark thoughts and some really like indecent thoughts, but I'm just like, I can't help my thoughts. Like I think what I was saying before about like I couldn't help having mental illness or whatever, and people are like, why don't you just eat or whatever? Like I can't help it. I think in overcoming that and realizing I couldn't help the thoughts I was having about not eating or whatever, I've kind of excused myself from any of the dark thoughts I have, and I've been empowered to be like, I had this really fucked up thought. Like I'm not acting on it, but like now I have a microphone.
It's like a
let's
mental
talk
like
about
Tourette's.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm letting it out because I can't be arrested for my thoughts yet. I mean, it's gonna come, but like for now, I can talk about the horrible thing.
I sometimes think about like, you know, what is one thing I could do to like seriously almost like end my career? And you have those like thoughts.
You already did.
But then I did it.
I mean,
did it.
That's
Let's not think about that again, Tom. No more.
No one has done like you have. Yeah, no one's been so close to being canceled forever and didn't get canceled for like.
What's it like to have the whole world hate you?
Oh man, it's crazy.
Are you scared that it's going to be the thing that defines you the rest of your life? Like,
I am a little bit.
earlier today on the Nick's podcast, I wasn't defending you, but I was kind of like talking about things that I could tell no one in the room was like agreeing with me, and I could tell none of his fan base is gonna like what I said.
Oh yeah.
Because it was just about how I don't know that he said that he had a conversation with you about stuff, and that you had said something of like, I don't know that I can. I forget what you can listen to it. He's not going to cut it out, but it was something to the effect of, I can't say I'll never do this again. Like, who can ever say that they'll never, and absolutes. I think you said something about, I can't say absolutely one way or the other about anything. And I think I agree that
I don't like dealing in absolutes.
I don't want to hurt anyone in my
That's
life,
the way to
but
the dark
I can't
side.
say, even my boyfriend, I don't think he'll ever cheat on me, but if he said, I'm never going to cheat on you, I'll take that at face value, but like, he doesn't know where he's going to be at some point. He doesn't know 20 years down the line when he fucking hates me. Or I'm not talking about your case or whatever.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying in general, like a situation.
Isn't it better to
You're
just...
like a Tom sympathizer.
I am not. I'm just saying, like,
Thank you,
I
Nikki.
can't.
I find it's better to...
Tom
I find it's better to like lower expectations in a way and then exceed them.
I
Then,
just
like,
can't
put
say
them-
where I'm going to be. I can't say what kind of
Yeah.
person I'm going to be, where my mental state will be, where his, like, I know people, I've done things that I would never predict I would do, both good and bad.
Yeah.
So I can't say that I'm, like, I say this for both evil things that I could do and good things that I could do. Like, I don't know that I can't win a Grammy someday for my dumb singing career that I'm just starting right now. Like, I say that, like, it's in the cards. It's probably not. And the fact that I cheat on my boyfriend is not going to happen, but it's in the like anything could happen.
What are you
I don't rule it
capable
out. What am I capable of? I'm going to cheat on the Grammys. I'm going to win one, but it's not going to be for lawful reasons. But I will say that after that podcast, I had there was a dog in the room, and I was getting so amped up and I was picturing the comments of like, she's throwing women under the bus, like all the things. And I started like kind of having like anxiety, and this dog was in the room, and I swear to God, this dog
Golden
was
Doodle?
like sensed my anxiety and just started like walking over to me slowly. Because this dog, I was trying to get to me at first, and it wouldn't even. But it sensed I needed it because I was having that moment of like, and then I left his podcast, and I was spiraling of like, God, what could people say? How much are they going to hate me after that? And like, even just associating with you, like I have to, like, I can't imagine what it's like to be you. And
Try having a
I gotta tell you, I've got to
kick
tell you,
that
there was some times that really sucked. But
I don't think to be honest, I don't think I would have made it with how much people say they hate you, because I'm not going to say they do hate you, because I don't think they do. I do think it's like projecting, and it's a part of themselves they hate, or someone that hurt them in the past that they're obviously projecting onto you.
It's a lightning rod.
But I wouldn't have survived that.
it was.
You must be an insane narcissist to get through that. I mean, there's some kind of personality disorder that is stealing you from this hatred coming at you. I mean, I don't.
I kept
and
myself.
by I don't
I
mean
kept myself really busy, and I did a lot
drinking.
of. I stopped drinking. I just started focusing on any like the eating disorder stuff that I could control. Like I started working out really hard. I
Yeah.
started keeping myself really active, trying to improve myself in all the ways that I could possibly do that, and that really helped pull me out.
And then Special Forces was like a punishment, like you said
Yeah.
last night. Why, isn't that weird? They parade you around with like
Yeah, that
they
was.
put a bag over your head.
when
to,
you
like,
when they
walk
put a bag
places.
over my head, it was a little bit like sort of calming because I knew I wasn't gonna have to do anything crazy like.
It was like being on Masked Singer.
There was something calming about it, and there was something like where I'm like, well, they can't have us do anything crazy hard because we're cloaked.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Yeah, so all we have to do is grab onto somebody or follow them, whatever they're doing.
You can give up control.
Yeah, and then too, I thought, okay, if they uncloak me, whatever we're doing is going to be more of shock value, so maybe not so physically hard.
Yes.
Nikki,
so it would be a good sign for you. Like things were calming down. Huh.
He has a Pavlovian response. He can only shit with a cloak over his head.
Shut up.
It's the only way he can shit.
Well, wait, I want to talk.
I liked it.
I want to talk before we. I want to
B+.
talk about Fboy Island. So
Yeah.
so what really sort of intrigues you about this show?
I like sought out this show because I just found myself all I watched was reality programming, and then I was always auditioning for like scripted stuff, and I'm like, why am I like trying to do things that I wouldn't watch? You know, like I like reality shows. I think obviously the situations can be formulaic and quote unquote fake, but I do think they're interesting. They're anthropological studies of people. They're intriguing to me. I don't think it's dumb TV. I think it's really actually when my thing that people go and they're like, reality TV's fake, and I'm like, oh, so is your scripted show not fake? Because it's an actor that's not the person they say they are, and they're reading lines written for them by white men in Burbank. You can't get more fake than that. So don't call my show fake.
It's voyeurism.
And it's like a zoo. I always compare like Fboy Island dating shows to like, you don't go to the zoo and you're like, oh my God, those pandas, like that's fake that they're fucking. It's like, yeah, they wouldn't probably fuck in the real life, but we put them in a habitat and they're into each other and they're fucking. That's what it is. It's a zoo, but people don't go, zoo is so low culture, low brow. It's like, no, it's like a way, this is what we do with people, and they do fall in love, and it's all real, and there's so much drama, and our show's awesome because we have villains that like say they're villains. Whereas, like, you're usually watching reality shows and you're like, I think that guy's a bad guy. He's there for the wrong reasons.
See,
but our show, people are like, I'm here for the wrong reasons. I'm a piece of shit, and I'm going to lie to this girl. And I can't even believe I'm going on a date with her. I, like, don't even like her. She's so boring. I would never talk to her on the outside world. I don't do anything. I don't write
Would you ever be a
stuff.
contestant on a dating show, you think?
I wanted to, well, when they first called me for Fboy Island, I thought the guy was calling to like tell me I was one of the girls.
What?
I was so excited. It was really embarrassing.
You were excited?
Oh, I would love to be the Bachelorette. I'm in a relationship now, so it's like that's not even on the table. But like back in the day, I would have loved to be. I would have loved it. But you are on a show that is like that. Like reality. That's what I like about reality TV is like. I don't know. I'm more honest on camera. Like, I feel like I'm more willing to do things that are out of my comfort zone that I really want to do, but I'm like, I can't do this just for myself. But when it's like, it's for entertainment, I'm like, I can do things that I'm like scared to do or
Nikki,
like
it's an
be
unspoken
intimate.
pact you make with the universe. It's like when you do a show, scripted, unscripted. It's like you bare your soul.
Well,
Yeah, you always have to have the one conversation. Our show, I always tell people, you have to have the one conversation with the one person you don't want to have it with. Mm-hmm.
And they force you to.
You feel nauseous.
Yes.
You are like shaking. You're like, but it's very. It has
long-term
helped.
therapeutic. Short
It
term
is
terrible.
It's
Oh,
terrifying.
yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, oh God. Okay, let's just do it. Just do it.
On my reality show, my boyfriend and I, like, we needed like a storyline of us like dealing with something and like doing something new, and so they started having us go to therapy. And my boyfriend was even reluctant to be on the show, but I pitched it as a dating show before we got back together. We've been off and on. And when I pitched the show, I was dating, and I was like, I want this to be a show where I date. Like, I was kind of pitching it as like a Bachelorette in St. Louis. And so when the show got picked up, I was like starting to hook up with my ex-boyfriend again, and it was becoming like, oh, this is kind of
So
a
he lived
thing.
in St. Louis?
Mm-hmm. He was from St. Louis and moved back during COVID too. And we were just like,
Wow.
we should hang out, you know? And then it turned into us dating. And then when the show was ready to shoot, I was like, this is a show about me like going on dates and like being romantic with someone. Like I want to be smooching on cam. Like that's part of the thing I sold, and I got to do that. So can you be on the show? Like, because this is what and if you're not, I have to date people, and I'm not going to fake it. Like,
It's a big ask,
I kind of
Nikki.
want a boyfriend
Big
who
ask,
will be on camera with me because I feel like reality TV is going to be a part of my life.
It's a big ask.
Not because I just like reality TV, and this is the start of something I want to do. And he was like, he's a behind the camera guy, and he was like, I get, like, it meant a lot to me that he took that risk and was willing to do it. But then on the show, they had us go to couples therapy, which we've been off and on for 10 years, never even considered going and we went on the show, we still see that woman that we went to.
Did
so like
it
you
helped?
said, it helped not only in the show, but we kept going. And now it's like the
That's
reason we're
awesome.
still together is because a reality show forced us to do something we never would have done if it wouldn't have been
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
entertainment.
yeah.
And like you're saying, like it forces you to have the conversations that are in the short term horrible, uncomfortable, long term. We still see this woman that was cast. And I mean, she's a real therapist, but we still do it. And it's the reason we're still together, I would say.
Nikki,
That's
So
awesome.
I like reality shows.
When
I
you're-
think they lead you to good things.
when you're not getting properly compensated for it, it is a big ask.
Yeah.
For people to expose their lives, their souls,
Yeah.
and really open up, it's
Yeah.
When you're, like, I mean, I don't.
And they're not
say this
comfortable
on
in front of the camera. They don't have that because I just assumed when I pitched the show that everyone likes to be on TV. So I thought like
Yeah.
my family. I'm like, I pitched it on these Zooms, living in my parents' house. Like my mom will be on, my dad will be on it. They're amazing. You know, they're on my Instagram and stuff. When I just like put it in their face, and they're always funny. And then it got bought, and they're like, we don't want to do this. And I'm like, but you're gonna be on TV. Like everyone wants to be on TV. I just assumed everyone wants to be famous or whatever. They don't. Some
Yeah.
people are just fine with the life they have and the amount of people knowing who they are. They
Yeah.
don't need love from strangers in this sad, desperate way that I do. And I have to kind of reflect on that and go, wow, what's wrong with me?
Nikki,
But now they love it.
You know what it used to remind me of? Like back in the day when we first started our careers and everything, like you book like an ad. Maybe it's a T-Mobile ad.
Yeah.
And people see you and they're like, dude, you're rich. You
Yeah.
made it.
Oh.
Meanwhile, you made $500 for the
I was
day.
in 2 Bon Jovi videos. I did stunts. They were massive. They were on TRL. Like they closed down Bleecker Street. I landed in the middle on a parachute harness. I mean, it was nuts. And everybody's like, yeah, I can't believe Sandoval made
He's
it.
a millionaire.
They see me in a magazine, like, you know.
He's got $640 in his account.
No, not even.
Not
No,
even, yeah,
I mean-
that's being generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the strike really exposed how much people get made or how much people make in entertainment and like how much my friend like is still under the illusion like if I'm an actress I'm gonna be like rich and I'm like you don't get it girl
No.
like actors
No.
aren't
Yeah.
rich.
It depends.
That's why they do commercials. That's why they
Yes.
do brand deals like
Yeah.
thank God I have touring. Thank God you have touring. Thank God for it, because if I was just relying on a TV show or being on TV, like thankfully I book stuff, but like
Hey,
I can
Nikki.
always go on tour and make money,
Nikki.
and that's where all the money is.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift, look, like she can
Yeah.
sell all the albums in the world. The tours where she's making her money.
Yeah, but what if
Just Tom.
would you ever? Yeah.
In case this is the last season.
The bathroom pass is over there. You can
In
take it.
case this is the last season of Vanderpump Rules, can I be your assistant?
Yes, I would love
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Just live in my abandoned apartment in New York.
40 an hour?
Well, with touring, you know, and I know you were talking about singing and having that passion for singing.
Yeah.
Is that something you're like wanting to pursue?
Yeah, I like love it more than stand up sometimes. I mean, I
Whoa.
love stand up because it's just so you can just say anything, and I will never stop doing it. But I love singing so fucking much. But it's embarrassing to like write music. Jokes are great because they're for someone who. Like, I'm scared of feelings. Like, I'm a very emotional person, but I'm very uncomfortable with them. And jokes, I can, like, say something serious, but I just go, I'm just kidding. Like, I can say some
Yeah.
real shit, but it's always under the guise of, she could be kidding.
Yes.
But lyrics, when you're writing poetry,
That's
very
burying your soul,
vulnerable.
Nikki. It's
So scary
you're-
to do.
and
your
you're-
soul.
I mean, I wrote some songs for Fboy Island. Like, we did this bit where, you know, on all dating shows, like, they go on a date and then they walk into, like, a beautifully lit, like, atrium, and there's, like, some musician you've never heard of, and they're like, Josh Radin, and they're like, who is John? Like, they act like they told him, like, just be excited about Josh Radin.
Yeah.
And so we did that we spoofed it on the show, but it was me, and I like was like, I'll write a song for it, and I'm like, and it was it was like hours before we shoot, and I was like, I don't have a song yet, and I'm like, I have to, and it was obviously a comedy song, but I had to be under the gun, and I wrote. So I have 2 songs, one in Fboy Island and one in F Girl Island that's coming up that I wrote, and I'm like, okay, I like wrote the melody, I wrote the lyrics. I'm like, I'm baby stepping into it, but I have to do comedy first. Like it has to be like I'm not serious, so that if anyone goes, this sucks, I'm like, but I was joking.
yeah.
You're never putting yourself out on the line. It's very vulnerable. When Bob Saget died, I wrote a song. I collaborated on writing a song about him. It was like the one thing that I was like, you know what? I'm really sad, and I'm like, this is overwhelming me so much how sad I am about my friend dying, that I'm going to write this song. I was already in the studio with my friends just recording some songs that they wrote, and it was just for me. I was never going to release them because I was like, I just want to see what this feels like. I'll just do it. And then Bob died while we were in the studio, and I was like, this song kind of reminds me of Bob. Let me just toy with the lyrics, and I released it. And I got torn to shreds for like how cringe it is because as a comedian, you can't do something like sincere. It's just too cringy. Howard Stern's show made fun of me. Everyone still makes fun of me about it.
If you keep doing it, though, I mean, people.
And then people get used to it.
They'll get used to it.
They will.
They'll get used to it. I mean, look, like as a reality star, performing, like we're in a cover band, which is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because it's other people's music or whatever. But even your singing abilities, your musical abilities, they are so ready to fucking hate.
Yes.
So
because everyone wants to be a rock star and they're jealous. Honestly, I just want to say when I was getting made fun of by comedians, the comedians that went the hardest on me and made the most fun of me are guys that I know love to sing and they want to sing. They have a song in their heart so badly. And I know that when I get I start hating on something, it's usually because it might suck, right? The thing I'm hating on. But I'm kind of jealous that that person doesn't seem to care that it sucks and that they did it anyway. I'm jealous of the I don't give a fuckness that some people possess, that I'm too embarrassed to do this thing. So I think that I have to look at that as when people hate, they're just like, they're kind of jealous that you don't care
Nikki,
and that they care so
Nikki,
much.
I know what you're saying.
They might think I suck, truly, and I might, but they still wish they had the balls to put themselves out there and take that risk.
Right.
dude,
It's easier to be cheesy under the cloak of melody.
No, finish it.
That's all right.
Paul, verse 6. Like,
It is.
That's from
No,
Corinthians, I think.
I think
The
it is better.
Corinthians.
It's better to look like an idiot and take a chance than to say, God, when I was thinking about Special Forces, if they asked me, I would have to say yes because I would hate to get older and be like, God, you didn't do that cool show where you could have learned about yourself because I was too scared or whatever.
you got if they ask you to do it, you got to do it.
That's what I say about Dancing with the Stars. It was a horrible experience for me, and I got voted off first. But everyone I meet, I'm like, do it. It's the greatest thing you'll ever do. It's so hard and it's so challenging, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
So hearing you say that just now, I would do it because I know that feeling of it sucks so much. It's the worst thing you'll ever do, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it.
The obstacle is the way.
I'll do
Are we
it.
getting into stoicism right now?
Oh, what? The obstacle? Oh, yeah.
we getting
Ryan
into stoicism
Holiday.
right
You know what we should do?
That guy I had to mute because
I
he's
love
just
Ryan.
too. I had to mute him.
I
He's
love
just
Ryan
too
Holiday.
upbeat.
Oh,
And he's always challenging me
too
to wake
upbeat.
up early. And
Wait, you know what we should?
his eyes are too piercing.
Wait, you know what? We should. Are you around tonight?
Yeah.
We should go sing some karaoke.
Tom, she has to perform.
Honestly, love it so much.
Oh.
You have
Are you
to.
serious?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go do some karaoke. They have it at
Challenge
Saddle
yourself.
Ranch.
Oh, they do have Saddle Ranch.
Wait,
tonight.
on Sunset?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm staying right next to there.
Yes! Let's fucking do it. Let's do some karaoke.
Fiona
All right,
Apple.
fuck
We're gonna
yes.
see Fiona Apple tonight.
I have to go do a set, but then I'll come over to Saddle
Can we
Ranch.
come check out your set?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the moment where you're banned from.
What?
You're banned from Saddle Ranch.
Are you really?
Sorry.
Dude, why you gotta call me out like that? It's fucked up, man. But anyways, we gotta wrap. So, where can people
I have
watch
a podcast
Fboy Island?
called the Nikki Glaser Podcast. It's twice a week, and then I have Fboy Island that's on the CW every Monday night. And you can just jump in. If you missed episodes, don't be like, how am I gonna know? We'll catch you up. And same with my podcast. You just jump in at any time. It's fun. And then I'm on tour all the time. Every weekend I'm on a U.S. tour. And until February, taping a special in a couple months. That'll be out sometime next year. Yeah.
Nice. Just a busy little bit. And tonight you're gonna be
And
performing.
tonight I will be doing karaoke at Saddle Ranch.
Yes! Hell yes!
Nikki, are we riding the bull or no?
We better make them one.
Let's do
No,
it.
I would never do that. I hate the bowl. Because you have to look sexy, but then they end up making you
Yeah,
just,
they
hump
shake
it,
the ass. No bowl.
I
Schwartz always
can't.
looks sexy on the bowl.
Thank you.
Not that hard.
Hell yeah! Everyone, it's been such a pleasure,
Yeah, it's been so
and
much.
thank you so much for coming by. And
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It was so
Yeah.
much. It was so fun.
what should we name this cocktail? A lot of pressure.
Oh God, what's some bullshit you said? What's
That's a lot
Vanity is embarrassment or something.
yeah.
The cloak of melody?
The cloak of melody. I like it.
The Cloak of Melody. Cheers.
Cheers.
There was something to that, by the way.
I liked it.
Okay.
I saw where you were going.
Okay.
Jaws.
It's easy. When you're performing.